have dreamt of this day for so long,
Icis tearfully stated as she held her son in their tight embrace.
I was beginning to fear it would never come.
Spyro, still in disbelief at the situation, couldn't find the right words to say. Instead, he decided to relish this moment. Ever since his dragonfly parents told him that he was not truly their son, Spyro had wondered who his biological parents were. With all that had happened in such a short time, however, the question no longer took precedence. Cynder watched in almost as much disbelief as her companion. She couldn't hold back a smile from seeing Spyro happier than she had ever seen him. The Black Dragonet was too entranced in the situation to notice that Gravel had moved to her side.
Why, hello there.
Cynder jumped in surprise.
Hi.
You, come here often?
Before Cynder could answer the awkwardly asked question, Flame grabbed Gravel by the horn and pinned his head to the ground.
Dude, read the room.
Couldn't resist.
Flame rolled his eyes in response, letting his friend free. Cynder returned her attention to Spyro and Icis, both of whom were still deep in their embrace. After another minute, Icis pulled back first, clearing her eyes with her paw.
When Pterodor told me you had gone to confront Malifaux, I feared the worst. But you're here. You're safe.
Spyro, after clearing his own eyes, asked,
You were in Warfang?
Only after you had left. Our village arrived in Warfang moments before the planet began falling apart. After the earthquakes ended, the rest of our village returned home, while I waited in Warfang, hoping to be present when you return. I held on to hope for a week before returning home, asking Pterodor to send a falcon if you arrived. As the days went by, I began to lose hope and feared you didn't make it out. Until I received a message telling me to come to this temple. The message was vague, but a part of me knew it would be you. I was a little surprised you weren't alone, however.
Oh, yes!
Spyro said, looking back to Cynder.
Mom, this is Cynder. She's my, friend.
Cynder looked at her companion curiously, swearing she saw him blushing. She chuckled to herself before approaching and saying,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. So, you were with my son during his battle against Malifaux? Thank you for keeping him safe.
Well, I didn't have much of a choice in the matter. We were literally tied together. But even if we weren't, I would have gone with him anyway.
I see. Now, Spyro, can you tell me what happened with your father?
For a moment, Spyro only looked at his mother, visibly confused by her question.
I don't know. I've never met my father.
Huh? But didn't you? Don't tell me he... Oh, that charcoal brain! Why would he not tell you?
Isis scoffed, aggravated. She growled before taking a deep breath, attempting to calm herself down.
Whatever his reasoning, I'm sure he had the best intentions in keeping the secret. Spyro, your father is Ignitus.
A long stretch of silence followed this statement. Spyro's wide eyes held Icis's for a moment, enough to see she was genuine. Then his stare dropped to the ground, as did his wings and tail. He had witnessed the earth literally breaking apart, but somehow this felt more world-shattering. Nobody rushed him through this revelation, though he could faintly hear Flame and Gravel whispering to each other. Beside him, Cynder sat down, mouth agape.
How?
He eventually exhaled, suddenly feeling very heavy. He looked back up at his mother.
Get this. When a daddy dragon and a mommy dragon love each other?
Shut up!
Ignoring the friend's banter, Icis replied.
I know this is a lot for you to take in, my son. How about we escort you back to our village and we can discuss this more?
Spyro nodded in agreement, though the look of shock in his eyes remained. It took a moment for him to finally snap back to reality.
I grew up not too far from here, but I never heard of any dragon villages nearby.
Our village is on an island several miles off the west coast. After the raid on this temple, we prohibited anyone from our village to come anywhere near here, due to the ongoing threat the apes posed. That was short-lived after your return, but unfortunately, you were already gone by the time I could get here.
Talk about the worst timing.
Icis rolled her eyes at Gravel's statement.
I'm sure you figured it out. But these two are Flame and Gravel. When I told them I was coming here, they insisted on escorting me.
Flame stepped up and dipped his head.
Nice to finally meet you.
Sorry about the trap. It was all Flame's idea.
No, it wasn't! I told you it was a stupid idea!
Poor guy has trust issues, what can I say? But hey, something good came out of it. We caught a hot dragoness and your cousin.
It took Spyro a moment to get past the former comment, before realizing what Gravel said in the latter.
Cousin? What do you mean?
Well, I was going to wait until we made it back to the village to tell you.
Icis replied, giving Gravel a scolding glare, to which he chuckled nervously.
But yes, Flame is your cousin. His mother, Infernes, is your father's sister.
Spyro looked at Flame, his apparent cousin, in shock. The colouring of his scales was certainly brighter than Ignitus's were, to which Spyro assumed were inherited by his father. His eyes, however, had the same fiery orange colour as Ignitus.
I have a cousin?
Spyro managed to ask. The shock of everything he had learned over the last several minutes was becoming too much to take in.
Yeah, I guess so. Aunt Isis always told me you would come back one day. Guess she was right.
Thank the ancestors you didn't bet any chance on that.
We can continue catching up later. Let's take you both home.
Home. That word has meant several places to Spyro, ranging from the home of his adoptive parents to the very temple the five of them stood in. Now that his mother was saying it, the word felt surreal. The four young dragons followed Icis onto the balcony, the same one Spyro had his first flying lesson on. As they neared the lip of the structure, Spyro reluctantly stated,
I have been through a lot these past few days. I don't think my body can make this flight right now.
I would think so. After all, you did save the world. Hop on, I'll carry you.
Icis crouched down and lowered her wings, allowing Spyro to awkwardly climb onto her back. Once he had his paws wrapped around her neck, the dragoness stood back up, approaching the edge of the balcony. Gravel approached Cynder with a cocky smile and said,
I can carry you if you get tired.
Cynder side-eyed him sharply. Her tone was light, despite the intimidating look.
I traveled across the land in a day after being frozen for 3 years.
She straightened, flexing her wings.
I don't really do tired.
The Earth Dragon chuckled nervously before backing away, returning to flame.
Dude, she is going to kill you.
Nah, I think I'm winning her over.
I'll make sure to add that to your eulogy.
With Spyro holding on to his mother and the other 3 dragons ready, Icis took to the sky, leading the group west. Spyro watched the land pass below them, remembering his first flight from the temple. Even though he was riding on another dragon, he still loved the feeling of the wind blowing across his scales. Up in the sky, Spyro felt at peace, especially with the company he was with. Flying close to him, ensuring he didn't fall off, was the dragoness he loved, and carrying him was his long-lost mother. The purple dragon's heart was full. Never had he been happier than this moment. Icis would glance back at Spyro from time to time, each one with a warm smile, as if reminding herself that he was actually here. Spyro could only imagine what his mother had been through after hearing about the raid on the temple. Not only did she lose her unborn child, but from the sounds of it, Ignitus, his father as well. The more he thought about it, the more questions popped into Spyro's head. With the noise of the wind, Spyro decided to limit himself to one question for now, and he knew exactly which one to ask.
Mom, do you know why Ignitus, Dad, didn't tell me about you?
His mother turned her head as best as she could while maintaining her flight path to say,
He actually wrote me a letter explaining why. I'll let you read it later. But he told me he didn't want to overwhelm you, especially while you were recovering from freeing Cynder. You had gone through so much in such a short time. He didn't want to keep adding to your stress.
That makes sense, I guess. Did he say if he was going to tell me?
He did, but something must have come up because the next letter I received was several months later. And he said you were missing. Again.
That must have been when the temple was attacked again and you were sent to find the Chronicler.
So he really did want to tell me. Malifaux just kept interfering.
Icis nodded and said,
I have no doubt he wished to tell you from the moment you found each other. But the thing about your father is, he has a natural tendency to put his responsibilities as a guardian over everything else. I love that dragon, but he can be rather frustrating at times. But by the way, you never answered my question about him.
Oh, right. Sorry. He was chosen to be the new Chronicler if he got us through the Belt of Fire.
The Ice Dragoness momentarily lost control when she quickly looked back at her son, almost causing him to fall off before recovering.
That would explain that, then. I suppose it's only fitting he would get the position with how much he has done for the realm. Now, it is my turn for a question.
Icis moved her attention to Cynder.
Is it true that you are the former terror of the skies?
Cynder involuntarily flinched at hearing her former title again, turning her gaze away as shame shaped her expression.
Yes.
But she's not anymore. She was...
Corrupted by Malifaux, I know. Your father told me in another letter. I am not blaming you for anything, Cynder. I'm just confirming who you are. No one can blame you for what happened. And if they do, you let me know. I'll deal with them.
The Black Dragoness gave Icis a genuine smile and nodded her head in reply. It was comforting to her to hear a dragon besides Spyro or Ignitus tell her this. It gave her hope that her dark past wouldn't bind her forever, that the future she longed for was attainable. It wasn't long after the group left the mainland that Icis announced,
Spyro, Cynder, welcome to Aiden.
The two young dragons looked down and saw a mass of land quickly approaching. It was a rather large island with a lone volcanic mountain sitting in the center. Near the base on the east side of the mountain, Spyro could make out what appeared to be the village his mother was referring to. It paled in comparison to Warfang, with no sizable towers, but it was still bigger than he was expecting. Hundreds of buildings covered the area, and assuming each one housed at least one or two dragons, Spyro couldn't imagine how many actually lived here. Icis circled the village as they neared, catching the attention of countless dragons. By the time she led the group to the center of the village, a large crowd had begun to form. The myriad of gathered dragons stared at Spyro in silent awe. The purple dragon returned the look, still in disbelief of how massive this society was. And there weren't just adult dragons, there were also dragons that appeared to be his age and younger mixed in. Icis landed in the middle of a courtyard, in front of what Spyro assumed was the largest building in Aiden, with the crowd surrounding them.
Citizens of Aiden, say hello to my son, Spyro.
To Spyro's surprise, the throng of dragons erupted into an uproar of cheers. He looked over the crowd, feeling a mixture of pride and embarrassment. He knew his and Cynder's victory over Malifaux would draw attention to themselves, but he was not expecting this. A whole village of dragons were celebrating his arrival. It was beginning to become overwhelming for the young hero.
I can only imagine how Cynder.
It was at that thought that Spyro realized the crowd's focus was entirely on him, not both of them. He turned to look at Cynder, who had landed behind Icis. As if she could read his mind, she said reassuringly,
It's okay, Spyro. This is your moment.
He wanted to argue, but before Spyro could say anything in response, a powerful voice rang out amidst the rest.
So, you're my brother's brat, huh?
Spyro turned to the voice and nearly fell off of Icis when he saw a dragoness that looked eerily similar to Igniter's stepping forward from the huddled onlookers. Aside from a couple minor features, if he had not just heard her talk, Spyro was confident he would have mistakenly called her Igniter's.
The name's Infernes. I'm sure you figured it out by now, but I'm your aunt.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just,
Yeah, I know. My brother copied my good looks.
Right.
Aren't you the younger sibling?
Semantics.
She replied, waving her off before returning her attention to Spyro.
Hop on down. Let's get a good look at you.
Spyro quickly complied, jumping off of his mother's back, and stood in front of his aunt, trying his best to hide his shaking legs.
Yep. Definitely see the resemblance. Same horns and face. Sorry, Icis. You lost that bet.
That bet was before he hatched. I'm not paying you 100 gems.
Sorry, a bet's a bet. I'll collect my reward later.
Icis rolled her eyes and quickly looked towards the crowd, whose cheers were finally dying down.
We will hold a feast in honor of these two tonight. For now, I asked you to give them some space to adjust to everything. I think they've both earned it.
To Spyro's relief, the village appeared to agree, and almost as quickly as it had formed, the crowd of dragons departed, leaving only a few outside of the group he arrived with. Standing nearby were two white dragons that Spyro assumed were twins, both looking at him in reverence.
Ah, yes, Glacia and Glacier. I apologize for missing our morning lessons today. I got a little sidetracked.
It's all right, Master Icis. Totally understandable.
You can repay us by introducing us to your definitely not famous son.
Oh, very well. Spyro, the one on the left is Glacia, and the one on the right is Glacier. Cyril sent them with me to continue their studies while the Guardians focused on rebuilding the city.
Nice to meet you.
The pleasure is all ours. It's not every day you get to meet a true legend.
Master Cyril always speaks so highly of you and Cynder, which I'm assuming that's her back there?
Yeah, that's her.
Spyro replied, looking back at Cynder. He motioned for her to come forward with his wing, to which she accepted.
Cynder, Glacia, and Glacier.
Hello.
2 legends in one day! Glacia pinched me!
His sister rolled her eyes and said,
We'll give you two some space to adjust. But maybe later we could ask you a few questions? It could really help with our studies.
Sure. Sounds good.
Thank you. We'll see you around then.
Glacia dragged her brother away, who couldn't stop gawking at the 2 legends.
I will definitely have to get used to being so popular.
No kidding. Guess it just comes with the territory.
He can be a bit much sometimes, but he's alright.
Mom, you mentioned Cyril sent them to finish their studies. What does that mean?
They are both Cyril's apprentices. He is training both of them to eventually become the next Ice Guardian.
And Icis here was the runner-up for Cyril's position decades ago. If she had listened to me and focused more on the physical test, she might have beat him.
And had you listened to me and studied more, you could have been the Fire Guardian.
Whatever. He can have that job. Too much paperwork.
Actually, he's not the Fire Guardian anymore. He's the new Chronicler.
The Chronicler? As in that mystical dragon that watches all of us go through our lives from a magical library and documents everything in his books? Yeah, sounds like something he would do. Ignitus always had a book with him growing up.
He definitely earned it. Anyways, shall we go inside?
Spyro and Cynder nodded in unison and followed Icis towards the building. Infernes and Flame followed as well, but Gravel looked over her shoulder before saying,
You guys go on ahead. I'll catch up with you later.
Where are you going? I figured you'd foolishly continue hitting on Cynder.
Oh, well. As fun as that is, I kinda made a...
Tejus, I said hi.
Gravel gave his friend a quick salute and ran the opposite direction towards a yellow dragoness their age. Flame rejoined his family and entered the building. Spyro and Cynder looked around, in awe at the large living room with walls covered in bookshelves, all filled with countless books and scrolls. Spread out around the room were several strategically placed cushions, one of which held a pink-scaled dragoness, roughly Spyro and Cynder's age. Her focus was on the scroll she was reading, and she didn't initially appear to notice the group walk in. As they walked further in, Spyro noticed Flame moving to the other side of Infernes, seemingly in an attempt to hide himself.
Is this the town's library?
Indeed, but it is also my home. This building doubles as the library and home for the village leader. Before Ignitus became a guardian, he was elected as the village leader. Once he became a guardian, that title passed on to me.
It's not like there's a lot of competition for the spot. Not a lot happens here, so everyone just keeps themselves mostly.
True, but it is still a great responsibility.
When the group neared the pink dragoness, she finally looked away from her scroll.
Oh, hello, Icis. I was just...
She began, but her voice trailed off when she noticed Spyro and Cynder.
Oh my! Am I seeing things? Or is that your legendary son?
You aren't seeing things.
With a soft squeal, the dragoness rolled a scroll up before strolling up to them. She sat in front of Spyro and held out a paw to him.
Hello, darling. My name is Ember.
Hesitantly, he took her paw in his and gently shook it. He could feel Cynder watching closely next to him.
Hello. I'm
Spyro, I know. There isn't a dragon in the realms who doesn't know your name, and you must be the equally legendary Cynder.
Cynder was taken aback when Ember acknowledged her with an extended paw. Following Spyro's lead, she shook her paw.
Nice to meet you.
Charmed, I'm sure. I was just finishing up my studies for the day. I'm sure I'll be seeing you two again.
The pink dragoness took her leave, but took a moment to look at Flame, who still hid on the other side of his mother. Spyro swore she saw a smile, but she walked out before he could confirm it. Once she was gone, Flame stepped out, heaving an exasperated sigh. Spyro had only known his cousin for a few hours, but he could tell there was something on his mind. Flame wore a look he knew all too well. The same look he had whenever he thought of Cynder.
She certainly is a character.
You have no idea.
Anyways, how are you feeling, Spyro? I know this has been a lot to take in.
Honestly, I'm pretty tired. I have so many questions, and I want to explore my new home, but...
It's okay, Spyro. You need your rest. I'll wait to explore the village until you wake up.
Spyro gave her a smile and a quick nuzzle.
Thank you, Cynder.
I'll show you to your room, my son.
Icis told him as she walked towards the stairwell in the back left corner of the room. Spyro gave Cynder one last nuzzle before following his mother as quickly as his body would allow. With her help, he managed to reach the top of the stairs, revealing a long hallway with 4 doors on each side.
I didn't want to ask this in front of everyone else, so I didn't embarrass you. But can I take a nap with you? When you're an egg, I was really looking forward to...
It's okay, Mom. I'd like that too.
Icis smiled at her son, saying,
Thank you.
She led him into the first room on the left, and the second Spyro saw the bed, his eyes grew heavy. He quickly climbed onto the bed and curled up, almost immediately falling asleep. Icis joined him, curling her body around his, smiling happily.
Welcome home, my son.